We'll start with Mayor Coleman, Senator Coleman, who has been on two-way before and is a great resident of the state and a calming presence in my experience in whatever he does. Senator, Mr. Mayor, thank you for being here. Great to see you.
Thank you, Mark. Shouldn't say it's a pleasure to be here. It's actually difficult to be here tonight. And I bring a couple of perspectives to this. I was mayor of St. Paul for 8 years. I was the chief prosecutor in Minnesota for about 17 years, and then also I'm a dad, and I have sisters, and then somebody's family member isn't coming home tonight. But I would just a couple of things. One, I would hope that for some of your listeners and viewers here, that they're not about waving the red flag, that she's a domestic terrorist, or the blue flag that she was murdered, but that they say that there's a process there that will figure all this out. And maybe let's catch our breath and let that process play itself out. You've kind of raised the question. Did the officer have a reasonable belief that he was in imminent threat of great bodily harm? And unfortunately, you've got a mayor that has already, he calls it bullshit and ICE get the F out. You have a governor that talks about this being a propaganda machine. If I can, from my mayor's perspective, I presided in an incident, very, very different, but it was a killing of a police officer. But I can tell you my reaction. My thought process was, my job now is to bring the community together, to heal. There's grieving going on. And instead, what you have here is, rather than a mayor and a governor bringing the community together, you have them kind of continuing to light the fuse. I mean, I'm worried, Mark, that we're going to be here another night when something else is going to happen, because what they're doing is they're feeding the flame. So that's my frustration. There's a process that will figure out whether there was a reasonable belief of imminent belief of great bodily harm. But for these politicians to be kind of feeding the flame to, ICE get the F out, it really, to me, it is terribly unsettling. It's not the way that I certainly would have acted, and it's not the way I think reasonable people should be acting in times of great difficulty. These are two leaders who presided over a city that got burnt down during their watch, during George Floyd. And now they're in charge again, and I worry that more bad things are going to happen because they're feeding the flame rather than trying to extinguish it.
Senator, thank you. I loved everything you said. I just want to clarify, though. Do you consider that the Secretary of Homeland Security saying domestic terrorism, when she doesn't know all the facts, to be any better than what the mayor and the governor did?
So I think what she's doing is she's protecting her offices, and I understand that. I would prefer that everybody kind of sit back. But then, that in that case, she's protecting the folks on the street. And by the way, ICE officers are not Gestapo. Okay, we got to kind of stop that. Again, that's what's feeding this. So I actually, I understand trying to protect officers. Put yourself in the position of the officer tonight, Mark. Okay, I mean, what he is going through, and no one talks about that at all. But so, yeah, she's doing what she does to protect her people. I get that. But in the end, I think most of us should sit back and say, let's see what happened here. Let the process play itself out. But don't feed the flames as both Walz and Frey are doing tonight.
Very glad to say that Cozy Earth is back as a sponsor. I wore my Cozy Earth pants all vacation. I wore them to the beach, and then I wore them, I'll mention the brand. I wore them to brunch at the Four Seasons. And no one said, Mark, why are you wearing your Cozy Earth pants here at the fancy Four Seasons? You just wore them on the beach. No one was the wiser. Cozy Earth products available, 20% off now, including the pants. CozyEarth.com, promo code 2WMM. That extends to the sheets, the bamboo sheets, the bubble cuddle blanket, all of the different pants that I love so much. Give the gift of luxury this year. Buy some for yourself. Make every moment comfortable. Head to CozyEarth.com. Use my code 2WMM for 20% off everything on the site. Be sure to mention you heard about Cozy Earth here. Some of you mentioned to me that you got Cozy Earth products over the holidays for your loved ones or got them as a gift, and everybody was very pleased. So right now, CozyEarth.com, promo code 2WMM for 20% off everything on the site.
They say that something that's easy is like a walk in the park. Well, easier than a walk in the park, hit the subscribe button, be part of the two-way community, never miss an episode, be part of our conversations. Thank you for your service to America.
And don't forget, you can now listen to the morning meeting and two-way tonight on Apple, Spotify, or wherever you get your podcasts.